Now we're going to go live to London, where British Prime Minister David Cameron is taking questions from Parliament. Let's listen in now.
Crime, a new fund for protective security measures at potentially vulnerable institutions, and additional funding to community organisations so they can tackle hate crime. Whatever we can do, we will do to drive these appalling hate crimes out of our country.
Jeremy Corbyn.
I thank the Prime Minister for that answer. Last Thursday, Mr Speaker, was a rejection of the status quo, a status quo that clearly isn't delivering. There are now 13.5 million people living in poverty in Britain, up 300,000 in the last year. 4.5 million people in England and Wales alone are in insecure work, and 2/3 of children in poverty are living in households where at least one adult is in work. The Prime Minister has 2 months left. Will he leave a one-nation legacy? And will that one nation legacy be the scrapping of the bedroom tax, the banning of zero-hours contracts and cancelling of the cuts to universal credit?
Where I would agree with the right honourable gentleman is, of course, we need to do more to tackle poverty. We need to do more to spread wealth and opportunity. But to try and pretend that last Thursday's vote was a result of the state of the British economy is complete nonsense. The British economy is incomparably stronger than it was 6 years ago. We all have to reflect on our role in the referendum campaign. I know the honourable gentleman says he put his back into it. All I'd say is I'd hate to see him when he's not trying.
Mr Speaker, government figures released yesterday show the number of children living in poverty has jumped by 200,000 in a year, to a total now, a disgraceful total, of 3.9 million children in this country living in poverty. Does he not think he should at the very least apologise to them and the parents that have been failed by his government, and do something about it so that we do reduce the levels of child poverty in this country?
Well, if he wants to deal with the figures, let me give them to him. Income and inequality has gone down. Average incomes have grown at their fastest rate since 2001. He asks about poverty. There are 300,000 fewer people in relative poverty since 2010. 500,000 fewer people in absolute poverty since 2010. Look, if he's looking for excuses about why the side he and I were on about the referendum, frankly, he should look somewhere else. And I have to say to the honourable gentleman, he talks about job insecurity and my 2 months to go. It might be in my party's interest for him to sit there. It's not in the national interest. And I would say, for heaven's sake, man, go.
Mr. Quinn. Jeremy Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While media attention seems to be focused elsewhere, all of us in this House have constituents who have problems that need to be addressed. For weeks and weeks, my constituents have been struggling with the impact of unofficial industrial action on our railways. Not over jobs, not over wages, but over who gets to press a button. Will my right honourable friend condemn this in the strongest possible terms and help to resolve those issues?
Well, my honourable friend is absolutely right. Our transport infrastructure is a crucial part of our economy. I condemn any industrial action that disrupts the travelling public, and rail passengers will not thank the RMT and ASLEF for their recent unnecessary disruption. Frankly, the performance of Southern has been unacceptable, and passengers deserve better.
OK, so we've been listening to David Cameron taking questions from Parliament there, obviously just returning from Brussels, needing to explain himself. And in terms of the steps moving forward, there's plenty more we can talk about here with Sarah Morris. She joins us now live in London. Sarah, have I got you there?
You do.
Great. Now, it seems that David Cameron is having to defend his policies during his legacy at this stage, and certainly the British economy. But he also noted that everyone played their role in last Thursday's Brexit vote. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, exactly. He's facing a pretty fired up Parliament there in London at the moment. Now, just before we went to the live broadcast, I'd like to mention that David Cameron did pass his condolences on to Turkey for the awful terror attack that's happened at the Istanbul airport there, and did say that he has been on the phone to Turkey's president. And that was probably where it started, but then it really got very heated in the chamber there. From that point on, Jeremy Corbyn, who is at the moment the opposition leader here in the UK, he has been attacking David Cameron basically on the economy and what Brexit is going to do to the economy. He has been pointing out and asking the Prime Minister to answer how on earth he plans to go forward here in the UK when business is losing, I guess you could call it, confidence in the UK, when the credit rating here is being dropped, when the pound is diving. Now, the Prime Minister didn't duck away from this. He said definitely the UK faces some choppy waters and it's going to be a period of instability. And the Prime Minister also pointed out that he pointed that out ahead of the Brexit election. He was predicting that. So he's saying, look, we knew it was going to happen and we are well prepared. This is the Prime Minister claiming that the UK is well prepared to deal with this economic fallout. He says, you know, things have been building up quite well here in the UK in terms of growth, in terms of bringing down the deficit, and that they are ready to deal with this, but that it will be quite hard work. So Jeremy Corbyn not going easy on him, also asked him to address the fact that since the Brexit vote, there's been an increase in racist-based attacks here in the UK. Of course, the Prime Minister condemned those flatly.
OK, and of course the race to find his replacement as well starts today. Sarah, really appreciate your update there. Sarah Morris for us in London.